Yes, lads, 5 gym myths that need to die. I'm gonna fucking walk through this and explain 5 things I wish I knew that people just chat shit about. And we're gonna address this straight up so you never have to get to a point where you're on Instagram and TikTok and you're unsure of what's right and what's wrong because everyone's saying different things these days. I'm gonna be here and just clear that up for you right now and explain 5 gym myths, 5 of the worst ones I've actually heard in my time, and explain exactly why they are bollocks. But number one, cardio kills gains. We've all heard this, and I think you're going to understand now that it is bollocks with the whole kind of hybrid athlete trend. You're going to see people who are ridiculously athletic running marathons and are likely bigger than you. And the reason why is because cardio does not kill gains. There's no reason why it would. The only reason why it potentially could is that you would burn loads of calories, and if you don't eat those calories back, you would then put yourself in a calorie deficit, which would make it very, very hard to grow muscle. But if you use Strava or you do it on a treadmill and you see how many calories you're burning, you can make a note of how many calories you've burnt, cross-reference that with your surplus or whatever situation you're in, and say, hey, I need to eat those calories back. That way, if you eat the calories back, it's not fucking real. Like you did the cardio, and then you still gain muscle. Do you know what I mean? And the important point is that it helps with recovery because let's say you smash a hard leg session and you do some cardio the next day, you go for a nice run, you're going to feel a lot better. Your legs are going to be a bit looser and you're going to help with the soreness. Your fitness is going to improve a lot better, especially if you're just trying to bulk and you're avoiding cardio. Your fitness is going to fucking go to zero. This has happened to me because I believe cardio kills gains. So, if your goal is to be athletic and have good physique that's useful, something that you can run with and actually perform at a high level, and you need your fitness to be there, especially when it gets to a point where you want to be lifting higher reps, because if your cardio is bad, you're going to find it hard to lift for 12 to 15 reps at a heavy weight because you're genuinely out of breath. You have to take longer for recovery. It's not good. So those are the 2 reasons, and also it kind of mitigates diet fuck ups. So let's say you overeat, you can use that cardio to keep you in check. It just kind of all works out and keeps you lean when you're kind of doing a big bulk. So I would recommend doing cardio. You also feel great when doing it. If you're training 4 days a week, which is what I'd recommend, that means 3 days of the week you're not going to be getting really any exercise. So you kind of use 2 days to do some cardio and you get that kind of feel good dopamine release, and then it allows you to go about your day with a bit more character, smash your day, be a bit more productive, and it's really important. So I would highly recommend doing cardio. It's definitely really important. And all you need to do is eat back the calories you burn if you're worried about it and, eating into your surplus. Even on a deficit, you can use cardio for 2 ways. You can simply eat back the calories you burn and allow yourself to kind of overeat on a lower amount of calories, or you can expedite your deficit. You can expedite the fat loss by just doing extra cardio. So it really is something good to do, and I wouldn't recommend missing it out. Another piece of advice, a bit degenerate, but you can use it to go out on the weekends and drink with your friends, right? Because let's say you do 2 5Ks a week and you burn 1,000 calories. Those 1,000 calories need to come back on, right? Otherwise, we're going to kind of mess up the deficit, kind of mess up the surplus. So you can choose that way come on, and this isn't probably the best way to do it, but you can have fucking 1,000 calories worth of alcohol if you want to, and that's kind of what we do, calorie banking. So if you're going to go out for a mate's birthday on the weekend, go for 2 runs, get that 1,000 calories saved up, and then go and spend them on a few beers or tequila lime sodas, whatever you wish. But number 1, cardio does not kill your gains. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So the next one is cutting out carbs. Now, carbs have been given a bad rep. I have no idea why. I don't think anyone can give an actual valuable opinion why carbs are bad. It makes no difference because, like I said, it's calories in versus calories out. If you ate 2,000 calories and 2,500 is what you need to maintain your weight, it doesn't matter what the fuck the 2,000 calories consist of. It could consist of all fat, all carbs. Nothing's going to change in your body composition other than the fact you're going to lose muscle because you're probably not getting your protein in. So that begs the question, what's important here? Calories and protein. That's it. Doesn't matter. You could eat 2,000 calories of fucking Haribos, and if your maintenance is 2,500, you will still lose weight because it's simple thermodynamics. You would have to lose the weight. Now, it wouldn't be good because you wouldn't be getting any protein from that and you'd lose muscle. But the point is, it doesn't matter what you fucking put in your body. Like, it really doesn't in terms of macronutrients. You do want to make it healthy, though, so obviously feel good and make sure that you're building muscle. But in terms of like a fucking lose weight metric, lose gain weight, it's just calories in, calories out. Okay, but let's assume we're doing this properly, right? You need protein to grow muscle. So because if let's do a calorie deficit, for example, we're gonna cut out our protein, we're going to lose muscle with it, and we're just going to arrive at a skinny physique, which is not what we want. So you need calories and you need protein. You also need a certain level of fat. So I wouldn't recommend getting rid of all fats, because you need a certain level of fats to maintain hormonal balances and systems in your body. Your body needs healthy fats. So that's important. But in the rest, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can go keto if you want, because the argument of keto is that if you don't have carbs in your body will get better at using fat for energy. So then it's bollocks. But the point is, you can do whatever you want with the carbs and fats, so there is no reason to cut out the carbs. It might cause you to bloat a little bit if you're over on the carbs, but that's not real weight, that's just excess water. But the real benefit of carbs, and why they're actually your best friend, why you should keep them in, is because carbs spike your insulin, which then produces glycogen, which allows you to have more energy to lift. And if you have more energy to lift, you can get stronger whilst in a deficit, which means you can gain muscle on a cut. It's very hard when you just have fats. Yes, you'll get energy, but you're going to get more energy from carbs. It's why we carb load for a big run, or we carb load before a football match or whatever. And it's a really smart thing to do, to be having a high carb meal before a workout, and then getting the best out of that lift, and then filling the rest of the day with, minimal carbs and fats. So I wouldn't cut them out, because you need them to produce glycogen. So don't listen to people who say cut out carbs. They just chat shit. That's number 2. Now, you can't gain muscle and lose fat. I touched on that a little bit, but I'm going to go into it a bit more. So a calorie deficit, right? Let's say we need 2,500 calories to maintain our weight, and we eat 2,000. So the calorie deficit ensures we are losing weight. There are 7,700 calories in a kilo of fat, okay? So if we put ourselves in a 500 calorie deficit, we'd be looking at anywhere between 2 weeks or so to be burning 1 kilo of fat, okay? That's through the calorie deficit. Now, that's how you're going to lose body fat. But then how do you make sure that you maintain your muscle / even gain muscle? Well, you keep training intense and you keep a track of what you're lifting. If you're lifting more every single week, you're getting stronger and you're growing muscle. And how do you ensure that? Kind of what we talked about, having high carbs, having that pre-workout, making sure you're eating before and you're really prepped for the session. Your sessions matter more on a cut, to be honest with you, because your goal is to maintain and even grow muscle. So we need to be lifting as heavy as possible. And to ensure that we actually optimize our muscle growth, you want your protein really high as well. This will ensure that you lose weight and gain muscle. How? Because a calorie deficit loses weight. And if your numbers are going up every single week and you're getting stronger, you're gaining muscle. Now, by my calculations, if you're losing weight and you're gaining muscle, then the only thing you can be losing is fat. So you are gaining muscle and losing fat. I think that's the perfect explanation. There is no better way of explaining it. It's been a confusing one. Loads of people say, oh, you can't gain muscle in a deficit. Of course you can. As long as you're getting stronger, you'll gain muscle. That's what you've got to understand. It's just significantly easier in a surplus. Doesn't mean it's impossible, because then how would anyone be lean and gain muscle? Do you know what I mean? It's something I believed at the start, but it's complete bollocks. I've been on a deficit for the last 4 months, and I've gained significant amount of strength, and as a result, I'm gaining significant amount of muscle whilst on a cut. I was gaining more on a surplus, because everyone knows the bulk surplus is basically steroids. You have so much energy that you can lift crazy amounts, and you get really stronger because mass moves mass. But you can still get stronger if your training is intense enough and your protein is high enough. So that's number 3. Fourth one. More calories equals more gains. Well, this is true up to a certain point, but after that, your body doesn't know what to do with the extra calories. So, it needs around 250, 300 calories on top to grow muscle mass, okay? And when you start to see that you're not gaining muscle, and I mean gaining muscle via looking at your lifts and seeing that the lifts are going up, that's how you track it. You don't track by weight. Because, yes, weight is a good indicator, but how do you know if you're not gaining fat? Because if your weight gain slows down, then it's signifying that your muscle growth is slowing down. What most people do is they just increase their calories loads and then assume that, okay, the weight's going back up, we're good. But then you were just adding fat without realizing it. You had a problem, but you addressed it in the wrong way. The problem was a lack of muscle growth. So we need to address that on its head. Okay, are we recovered? Have we been training for like fucking 12 weeks, 3 months, 4 months at a time? and our body's just fucked. That's why we can't lift more. So let's take a week off. And we take a week off and go, okay, I've got my strength back, numbers are going up. Now we're going to continue to grow muscle, and the weight will slowly reflect that. We can also look at training intensity. Are we training hard enough? Are we really, really pushing it? Are we getting enough protein in? If that is all the case, and you fix that, then you will start to grow more muscle. And that's how you track whether you're growing muscle. What most people do is they think the calories are the problem, so they increase the calories. But like I said, your body doesn't know what to do with the extra calories. If something was working, you need to increase the calories so and so when you gain weight, because obviously your maintenance calories will rise, but not ridiculously. You don't need to add another 500 calories to a surplus, because then that just gains fat, right? And then you store body fat, and then that means you have to shorten the period of where you're in a surplus, and then essentially you have to do a longer cut, which means, as I said, you're going to be in a period of time where it's a little bit harder to gain muscle. You can gain muscle in a cut, but it's significantly easier in a surplus. So we want to prolong the surplus for as long as possible, and the way you do it is by doing it lean, keeping your calories in a tight range, and not really going over it. That's the best way to do it. So you want to audit your training intensity. Now, remember, if numbers are going up, you're growing muscle. Nothing needs to change. If your weight doesn't increase and your numbers are going up on a lift, nothing needs to change. You're getting stronger. Do you know what I mean? Like, unless it's like really small progress, and maybe increase it a little bit, or audit, your training intensity and recovery. But look at the numbers in the lifts. Are they going up? If they are, you're getting stronger and you're getting bigger. This is the best way to do it. Bodybuilders, what they do, they do increase their calories to around 4,000, 4,500, and then do extra cardio to kind of mitigate that. That does work because you have more energy, you have more carbs, so you can lift more. But then they make sure that they do the cardio to bring them back down to that small surplus. So that is a good way of going about it, but that's if you're really serious. If you're not, I'm serious, but I'm still not going to do that. I would say, honestly, just keep the surplus tight and just do a lean bulk, and your life will be a lot easier. It will take longer, but your cut will be much quicker. And that's the best way to grow muscle, because growing muscle is the hard part. If you do it the other way around, you're going to be going around in circles, and that's not ideal. So that's number 4. And the last one, more volume is the key to growth. Now, not many people agree with me on this, but I'm a big believer in Dorian Yates' style of training, HIT, Mike Mentzer, Arthur Jones. I'm sure you've seen loads of it, but more volume is key, right? Up to a certain point. Because why would we not just spend 10, 15 hours in the gym every day if more volume was the key? I've just destroyed that point right there. Because if volume was the key, then why wouldn't we just do more? Why wouldn't we train every day, twice a day? Or do 20 sets of bench rather than 4 sets? Why do we only do 4? If this was really true. So I've just eliminated that. Volume's bollocks. It's clearly not volume. It does it. So if it's not volume, what is it? It's intensity. It's intensity. So if you understand that, then you understand, right, the focus should be on intensity and then recovery. Because we couldn't be doing 7 days a week. There's no 7-day splits out there, because you obviously need to recover. You can't grow unless you recover. So it's intensity and recovery. That is how you grow muscle. Volume isn't essentially the best way. So why do we do 4 sets? Why do we not do 1 set? Why do we do 10 sets? Well, the goal is to destroy the muscle as efficient as possible. And personally, I train 1 set to failure, but that's because I really push it. I'm able to do so. I can train 1 set to failure. Not many people can. Maybe they don't have people with them to train with them, or they don't really push themselves to failure. So I'd say anywhere between the 1 to 3 set period is good. But don't think that you need to be doing these crazy 10 sets. You just bang 1 set out to failure, or bang 2 sets out of failure, and then you've done your job. Now you go home and you recover, and then you rinse and repeat. That's it. Because sometimes doing more is going to shoot you in the foot. You can only grow what you recover from. And this is how you grow muscle. This is how you break plateaus. And it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, because you feel like you're taking a risk. Oh, if I train less, then I'm going to make less gains. But you're already making less gains, and why don't you try something different? And that's exactly what I did, because my muscle growth was slowing down, and I thought I'd try a new style of training. And ever since I did that, everything changed. It just became very apparent to me that the goal is maximum intensity and maximum recovery. So what you want to do is smash the muscle out, take it to failure in the most efficient way possible, and then give yourself the most time to recover. So for example, myself, I train 4 days per week. I train for about 45 minutes per session, maybe like an hour for legs because I fucking hate legs. But I'm going to like one set to failure, like one pure set, because that's all it really, really takes. Once you get to a point where let's say we're on leg press and you physically can't do another one, like if you physically can't, then there's no more to be done. All you can do, the most efficient thing you could do right now is go home and recover. That's it. And then rinse and repeat. As opposed to doing like 10 different sets of lower intensity. Because remember, it's maximum intensity, maximum recovery. It's hard to explain, and I hope I've done my job there. But just understand that volume is important, but up to a certain point. It's not the key to growth, because otherwise we would increase it to 20 sets. What is important is maximal intensity, and you can choose the volume 1 to 3 sets depending on how hard you can push yourself. If you can push yourself very, very fucking hard, then it might be in your interest to just do 1 set to failure. Obviously, you warm up before those sets, but we're talking about 1 working set. That means you don't do any junk volume and then eat into your recovery, and then you allow yourself to recover, which allows you to grow quicker. If you do this, and you look at it from a mathematical perspective, you will start to see that your numbers, your lifts, just increase quicker. And then you can see, as a result, in the mirror, that your progress is quicker. Hard pill to swallow, but fucking works. But anyway, those are the 5 myths I thought I'd list. You know, I've heard it all, and I figure these ones piss me off the most. So I just thought I'd break things up a little bit, break the system, you know, pick a few brains, see who agrees, see who doesn't. You know, that's what the comments are for, so feel free to do your worst. But those are five tips I'll definitely incorporate into your training. Hope that was useful. If it just gets good response, I'm going to make a few more videos of these, because I've got plenty of myths, plenty of tips to give, and I'm back on the daily YouTube videos now. So I will leave you to it. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Safe.